Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, we got breaking news here as the Chicago Bears have gone out and signed Neville Gallimore to the team. This is an interesting move by the Bears. This is a rotational piece guy as well, as I'm still waiting for something else to pop off. I like the move. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's a god-awful move, but it is rotational piece value. He is a solid player. If you didn't pay much attention to Neville Gallimore last year, I wouldn't judge you at all. He played in 17 games, had 38 total tackles, 18 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 3 pass deflections. He also generated 17 total pressures on the season. So this guy's a pass rusher. From that interior position, it is something that the Chicago Bears needed. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not something that we didn't need to add to the team. You needed somebody who can push the pocket in the middle to help those guys on the edge be able to get out there. That's the kind of player that he is. That's the kind of asset that the Bears went out here and got for themselves. He was a top 30 interior pass rusher in the pass rush grade among defensive tackles. So a solid piece, one that speaks to you want to have some veteran presence in that room before you go out and try and add a player probably via the draft as far as that defensive tackle position goes. Now, the biggest issue that the Chicago Bears had on that interior was, of course, the run defense, and he's not going to add very much to the team as far as that run defense kind of guy. He was fine. More of a, if he's out there on a rundown, you've probably got some question marks on who the guy was supposed to be out there, because more than likely your defense got a little bit switched up on that. It was a weaker part of his game. It's not something that I expect him to come in here and all of a sudden have magic at, but he was somebody who was more of a disruptor. He was a guy that could eat up space in the middle. And so you're not sitting here looking at a guy that is useless in the run game. As far as it goes, listen, he's not coming in to be an all-star. He's not coming in to be the face of this defensive line. But if you want a guy that can give you some interior pressure on passing downs, I think that this is actually a win for the Chicago Bears defense. But again, this is not one that is break the bank. This is not one that is, oh my God, you went out and you got you a dog. This is solid piece. Yeah, I mean, solid piece. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page if you have not done so. Very quickly in this mug, over 100 in the chat. Over 200 in the chat. 200. The move is done, right? It's nothing to go out there and lose your mind over. He was fine last year, I thought, in that Colts system in the defense early on. When things got ugly, though, you kind of saw everybody on that defense start to drop off, and he was a part of that conversation as well. So you don't see him as somebody who's going to overcome whatever happens with the rest of the group. He's going to be, the leader of that group. Again, this is a rotational move. This is somebody that you can have in there with Javon Dexter. This is somebody that you can rotate in and out. This is not somebody that you think is going to be the face of your defense. And I think Bears fans were expecting much bigger moves to start off free agency. Hopefully, this is not the only move that the Chicago Bears make today. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Urban Warfare Academy said, good depth, bad splash. Yeah, listen, he's solid depth. You know what I mean? Like, that's really all that he is. He's not somebody, you know what? I think that's a great take there. Andy G in the comments, he said, so Big Bill is gone. Yeah, this is probably Andrew Billings' replacement. I mean, you saw Andrew Billings last year. You could tell that and because of the injury that he went through, right, it probably wasn't in the kind of shape that he wanted to be in, wasn't the level of pass rusher that he had been before the injury. And you kind of saw him essentially fall off throughout the season. He never has gotten back to being that impact in the run game that he was 2 years ago. I like the take on, is this Andrew Billings' replacement? Probably. I would say, that's a fair assessment of this kind of move. If this is the move that we get today, I listen. You're gonna hear some stuff tonight on the show because the boys are gonna be in here tonight as well. By the way, he said deal negotiated. Tom Pelissero's the one that we got this from initially. And it said deal negotiated by Lift Sports Management. I thought the tweet was sponsored. I thought that we were getting the tweet sponsored. Papa Smurf said, oh, great, another former Colts project. Well, he's played before the Colts. This is not a Colts project. He was on the Colts. I believe he spent time with the Dallas Cowboys and the Rams. He's 29 years old. So again, this is not long-term deal that you're trying to get done here. He had 4 years in Dallas where he racked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sacks over his time there in total. He had 3.5 sacks last season, so you saw a little bit of improvement there. But you know, like this is not go out there and be excited, flip a table. This is solid move to try and go out in the draft and address the defensive tackle position. And there's guys that you can. There's guys that you look at in this draft and you see that they are answers for you in the future. You know what I mean? That's really kind of what it comes down to. This is you want to have veterans in place to make your team stable so that you can have guys that can come in and can learn and can get the job done. But bottom line is you're trying to build this thing probably young. And in building it young, you have to go out and you have to sign veterans that could be stopgap pieces, that could be veteran pieces that you can count on, that could be guys that can come in the room and teach younger guys what to do, but still give you some level of production. The good part about this is something the Chicago Bears didn't have last season. This is production as far as pass rush goes. If you want to say the best part of this entire thing, he is a productive pass rusher from the interior. Not a sacks guy, but a guy that can get your double-digit sack guy in Montez Sweat involved in the game. A guy that can force people out to your edges. Because remember, there is still probably some level of we got to try and turn Dio into somebody. There's still probably some level of Dio's got to be a part of this thing moving forward. They're trying to force some pressure inside so that Dio can make those numbers look a little bit better as well. Trying to see if we get any more news here before I drop off on this one. Just want to make sure to keep you guys updated. If you have not done so, please hit that thumbs up button, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Some crazy moves already, and we just got one 3 minutes ago that I'll be honest with you. JC talked about this guy this morning on the Morning Breeze as somebody he wanted the Chicago Bears to possibly take a look at. Demario Davis just now signing with the Jets on a 2-year, $22 million deal. Jets trying to get involved in this. Keep an eye on the Jets as somebody. Now, the Bears usually don't trade players to bad situations, but keep an eye on the Jets with Aaron Glenn, a former coaching compadre of Ben Johnson, for a possible Tyson Bagent trade. Keep an eye in New York for a possible Tyson Bagent trade. We've heard that the Falcons are eyeing Tua Tagovailoa. I would assume that he would rather go there than the Jets. I would assume that most people would rather go anywhere but the Jets. Poor Minkah Fitzpatrick. My God. You get traded from the Dolphins to the Jets. Tough times, brother. Absolutely tough times. I think that's a leader in that Jets locker room. Keep an eye on the Jets as somebody who possibly could give up a little bit more as far as draft capital goes. They have the capital, they have the money to do it. I think that might be somebody who there could be some interest in. One player that the Bears did lose today as well. Somebody pointed it out in the chat. Elite Brooks pointed it out in the chat. Shout out to you. Olamide Zaccheaus is now gone. I saw a couple of people saying the Bears might be in the market for a new wide receiver 3. I don't believe that is the case. To me, I look at Olamide Zaccheaus as a move where, loved having him here. I thought he was very solid in the beginning of the year, somebody that Caleb can count on. Got a case of the drops partway through the season, right? And so you were hoping to upgrade that position. Boom, in walks Jahdae Walker. You know what I mean? Like that's one of those, your wide receiver 3 should be the guy that you are just trying to get the most out of. Your wide receiver 3 should be a guy that you see some excitement in and just can be solid. I think Jahdae Walker was that for you at the end of the year. I think the poise that he showed really ingratiated himself to Ben Johnson in that first year there. To me, I think that is your wide receiver 3 moving into this season. And realistically, you're talking about a wide receiver 4 type of guy. Because, and it's not because Jahdae Walker is bad, you're talking about that because more than likely, and I said this multiple times, I think Colston Loveland is your wide receiver 1, your receiver 1 heading into this offense next year. I think he's going to be the guy who's going to get the bulk of the targets from Caleb Williams, and they're going to try to lock that relationship in a heck of a lot more. Waiting to see if any other news breaks, because the one thing I hate doing is ending a live and then jumping right back on live. For those of you who are in here on asking all the questions on who with the Neville Gallimore, no surprise there. I mean, he's an interior defensive tackle from the Colts. Was a starter last year, so solid. But I made rotational type of guy. You know what I mean? He's not your 1,000 snaps guy. Oh, this is one that I thought the Bears might be in on that just got done here. Dang it, I actually wanted that's not a bad deal either. Dang it. Polls, wake up, baby. Former Lions linebacker Alex Anzalone signing a 2-year, $17 million deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That is somebody I really wanted the Chicago Bears to be in on. I would rather you go offensive lineman, but if you were going to go linebacker, I thought that you could get Anzalone for a very, very team-friendly deal. That would have been a great deal to bring him in. So maybe shows the confidence they have in DeMarco Jackson, who was signed earlier. You brought DeMarco Jackson back. He played really great, and at the price you got him at today, if you can go back out there and see that play again next season and get a full season of it, you feel really good. Remember, he was the one calling the plays. He was the green dot guy on the field. So showed a lot of confidence in him, and he went out there and he just got things done. That's one I wanted Anzalone, but I'm okay with the DeMarco Jackson move there. Man, I thought that was one the Bears might be in on. My focus still, and no matter what, by the way, fullback, I'm just updating on all the signings here. Fullback Reggie Gilman signed on a 3-year deal, fully guaranteed with the Patriots. So they're going fullback there. Bucks are signing former Steeler Kenneth Gainwell to a 2-year, $14 million deal. That don't do nothing for me. That's cool. Have fun with that. Kenneth Gainwell's fine. Leroy said with the super chat, shout out to Leroy with the super chat. He said, love the signing for depth. Love your grind, fam. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, this is a depth move. This is Neville Gallimore's a depth move. He's a guy that you can rotate in and out. And again, I believe that the Bears are going young in the draft. I think that they're going to try and, build this team up from the bottom up. And if you're doing things like that, right, you want veteran rotational pieces in there. This is a solid signing. It's not anything to be over the moon over. Hold on, over 300 in a chat, over 400 in a chat, over 500 in a chat, 500. Let's get over 500 thumbs ups on this video, man. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It's your only channel, Talk Chicago Sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. PFF has the Vikings signing cornerback James Pierre to a 2-year, $8.5 million contract. Former Steeler in that. That's a solid cut. That's a good ad. I'm not going to lie to you. He was very solid in coverage. Very, very solid in coverage. Maurice Drake with the super chat said, Pat, bro, hear me out. With Walker going to the Chiefs, let's hit them up and see if we can snag Pacheco for cheap. Why am I trading draft capital for a wide receiver? Or I'm sorry, for a running back. By the way, y'all know how I feel, or maybe you don't if you're new to the channel. Isaiah Pacheco run hard, but don't go nowhere. Am I the only one that feels that way? Every time I see Isaiah Pacheco, I mean, it's and it's like a gain of 3. He runs so hard, but he's not going nowhere. So like I'm cool on Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah, I love the guys that we got in here. Y'all know I'm a big Manung guy. Swifty's fine on the contract that he's on. I don't think you need to go running back here. If you go running back at any point, you find your 5th or 6th round guy yet again. You know what I mean? You find your 5th or 6th round guy who behind this offensive line, hopefully you have still the same production as far as a push in the run game with your new center coming in here and Garrett Bradbury. And if you do, you're going to be just fine. Dan Tanner in the building said, what up, Pat the Designer? I trust the Bears this year in the offseason. Ben and Ryan had a great offseason last year, and Ben got the best out of all the players. #salute. That's a part of this that we don't talk enough about. We do have a little bit. Oh, no, okay. This is not breaking. The Chicago Bears are eyeing Seahawks safety. This is per Jonathan Jones of NFL on CBS. They are eyeing Seahawks safety Coby Bryant. Sources tell that would be a really nice get, especially if you could get him for cheaper than what you were going to get Jaquan Brisker on. That would be a really nice get. I mean, that would be incredibly solid. You're elevating your defense in a major way. You're elevating your defense in a major way. I'd get you bring in a little Coby Bryant in here, I'd get a little tingly. I'd get a little tingly on that one. Let's see some more comments out here. What do you got? You don't win free agency. To be honest, draft is where it's at. Listen, I'm okay with having a mid free agency. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to me. I'm fine with it. If the Chicago Bears go out and free agency is just depth pieces and you figure it out. Now, here's the thing. You have to hit in the draft. But I think we have much better evaluators in the building than we had in years past. We have a coach who knows what he's looking for on both sides of the football here. And so I feel so much more confident in where the future of this team is going to lie, because I don't think that we have boobs like Matt Eberflus trying to pick guys. And Flus was never going to pick anybody who was going to ruffle his feathers or anything. Baki with tweeting at me here from Dan Durkin said, this may already be known, but it was news to me. Rich Eisen just said the Bears met the Raiders price of 2 firsts for Crosby, but the Ravens pick earlier this year. Ooh. So Ryan Poles was in. So Ryan Poles was willing to pay the price of 2 firsts for Max Crosby, but it came down to where the draft capital was at. Ooh, that scares me. But again, what was the conversation that we were having? Right? Because everybody wanted to immediately be like, I understand why Poles didn't do it. Poles was ready to do it. It tells me one thing that I think is very important. You didn't get it done. That might end up saving you in the long run. Oh, shout out to Mitch Trubisky. 2-year deal for Mitch Trubisky. He's going to the Titans. That might end up saving you in the long run if you find some good pieces via the draft there. But that tells you the confidence that they have in Caleb Williams. They think that this young man is the kind of guy that can go out there and put it on every single Sunday. Did we just get that done? Hold on. Do we got a little breaking news here? No. I don't see it. Baki says it, so I believe it. Deal for where you seeing that, Baki? Where you seeing that, Baki? You had to tweet it at me. I'm not seeing it. Let me check Pelissero. Woo! If that's for real, that's a get. And Baki usually don't cap. There it is. Tom Pelissero. The Bears are signing safety Coby Bryant. Woo! That's a get, baby. That's a get. I like that. What's the terms? I like that move. That's a heck of a replacement. Now the question is, are you still trying to get Kevin Byard back? Brisker's gone. That means that Brisker is gone. But that is a get. I told everybody this offseason is going to be about keeping or building Dennis Allen's defense. This offseason is going to be about building Dennis Allen's defense. JC, I know you're watching. Get in here. We got Coby Bryant. That's a get. Wow. I like that. You are building Dennis Allen's defense. You are giving him. Remember, last year he's coaching Fluce's defense. Hold on, just want to update the title here real quick. It only took what is that? What year was that? Was that 2007? 2006? When Coby was coming here? It only took 20 years for us to finally get Coby Bryant in Chicago. Trying to update the title here and update the thumbnail. Let me know you guys' thoughts in the comments on this. I think this is a phenomenal get by the Chicago Bears. This is one where you start to see some of the leaders appear on this team for your future. Coby Bryant, hold on, there we go, Seahawks here. Last season, 26 years old, so replacement is good. 3 years, $40 million for Coby Bryant on this one. He had 7 interceptions. I mean, you're talking about a guy, he's got 7 interceptions, I should say, in his career, 2 sacks in his career in total, man. You're talking about a guy that has been an impact piece that you didn't have to break the bank for. I like this move. And essentially about $13 million a year. That's pretty much Brisker money, though, I feel. Unless Jaquan Brisker's going to get crazy money. Unless Jaquan Brisker's going to get crazy money, I mean, you're pretty much talking about Jaquan Brisker money in that, I would think. But maybe they feel he's going to get 15 to 18 million. And that's a range they can't go. You also are talking about a player, though, when you look at Coby Bryant, and I think, you know, this is kind of the bottom line of it all. For the most part, a pretty healthy player. 17 games played his rookie year. Had the one season where he got a little banged up, only played 9 games, but then 17 the next year, 15 games last season in the regular season. So, you know, the injury history, you're getting a guy in here who's a little bit less expendable as far as how the injuries go. I wonder if this means that Kevin Byard is not coming back and the Bears possibly looking via the draft for that opposite safety. But I mean, you're adding a Super Bowl champion to your roster here. You're adding somebody who was meaningful to that team down the stretch to your roster here. I think this is a really, really good add for the Bears. A little more than maybe I wanted to pay at the safety position. I would have liked to kind of keep it cheaper there and go via the draft. $13.3 million. I wonder how this contract's going to break down. We'll see all the details of that moving forward, but not a bad signing at all. Still trying to update stuff here. And we don't have a defensive end. We added 2 Super Bowl players. Not bad. Yeah. We're drafting Thieneman from Oregon. That would be a good get. I would love to get Thieneman from Oregon, especially if you're going BPA, right? Listen, where the Bears are sitting right now, he might be a best player available kind of player for you at that spot. So we'll see, you know, kind of what the Bears end up doing in the draft. But if it's BPA, that's a piece that might be the best case scenario for you via the draft. Sorry, rap. Got to steal your image for the thumbnail here. What do we got? Shout out to you guys in the comments, man. Shout out to you guys for showing love. Over 700 in the chat. So we're definitely drafting a linebacker. I would think so. Listen, I just saw a video repop back up of my reaction to Ruben Hippolyte. Y'all remember, I wasn't thrilled about the move. I was like, okay, let's see what he's going to end up being. He really didn't end up being much here in a Bears uniform in his rookie season. Now, that doesn't mean that he can't develop, right? DeMarco Jackson was a guy that it took time to develop. I'm not saying that he can't get better, but you thought that, you know, with all the struggles you had at linebacker, you thought that would be somebody that you could turn to. I know injury played a part in that at a certain point, but I mean, you kind of started looking around going, hey, not for nothing, bud, but what kind of impact are you looking at here? You don't feel great about what you have in Noah Sewell in the slightest, realistically speaking. And, you know, these are just, that's a position that the Bears probably should be looking to improve upon heavily there. 2J man said, bro, if we don't make a splash move this year, it's going to be hard once these guys are off their rookie deals. Yeah, but here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. That's what your GM's job is to do. There are a lot of quarterbacks. In fact, most of the quarterbacks that have won haven't been on their rookie deal. You're really talking about two guys. You're talking about Mahomes getting it done on his rookie deal. You're talking about Hurts getting it done on his rookie deal. Most guys aren't getting it done on their rookie deal. You got to figure out how to, and that's why you build your team via the draft. That's why you build your team through the draft. Because more than likely it doesn't get done on a rookie deal. That doesn't mean it's the end of the earth. That doesn't mean you're not going to be able to find ways to win. In fact, the hope is not, hey, we just won a Super Bowl on the rookie deal. The hope is that you win multiple Super Bowls moving forward. The hope is that after Caleb Williams is paid, you're still able to win Super Bowls. Some of the PFF numbers and numbers on Coby Bryant here. I was trying to update all that stuff, so I didn't get this to you guys right away. Last season, solid season. Had 4 interceptions last year, 1 total pressure, 17 receptions allowed, 48 total tackles, was on a dominant defense out there. His run defense, great. So if you want to talk about kind of where he replaces Jaquan Brisker, if you want to talk about where he replaces Jaquan Brisker, the run defense, a 70.3 kind of player. I think that's something that cannot be overlooked. His pass rush grade, a 66.8. Again, he can be played all over the field. His coverage grade, a 61.9. Not great, but a 65.5 overall. Again, take those numbers, look at what you saw on the field, look at how they used Coby Bryant throughout the seasons. I think that this is a guy that DA would love to have come in and replace Jaquan Brisker more than likely. And whether you build it via the draft or you bring back Kevin Byard, you've got that guy that you can use a ton. 48 solo tackles last season, 14 assisted, did force 1 fumble last year. What else do we have? He was top 5 in interceptions among the safety position, so you love that. Yards number, total pressures. Yeah, those are, and again, the snaps played, 974 snaps played last season. This is a good signing. This is a good signing for the Chicago Bears. By the way, over 800 in the chat. 800. $13 million on the books for Coby Bryant, $40 million over 3 years. He is 26 years old, so that means that this contract coming off pretty quickly here. Let's make sure. Let's see if we got anything else here. Let me know how you guys feel about this signing in the comments below, man. Boom. Foles could have gotten Micah or Crosby, immediately makes the defense good. Listen, we just heard from Adam Schefter that Ryan Poles was willing to pay the 2 first-round picks for Crosby, but the Raiders decided to go with the Ravens more because of where the picks were at. If you're not, I'm not offering more than 2 firsts. I'm not. I'm not offering more than 2 firsts. When you hear that Ryan Poles was willing to pay the price to go get Max Crosby, I feel like 2 firsts is a lot. But Ryan Poles has enough confidence in where this team is at. Ryan Poles has enough confidence in where you know what Ben Johnson brings, what Dennis Allen brings to the table, that he said, I'm willing to pay the price. And so you're telling me he was willing to go out here and pay the price of 2 firsts with the belief that he has in this quarterback? That tells me so much about where they feel like this team is at. That tells me so much about where they feel like this team is at. That means that you don't feel like a step back is coming this year. Let's hope that, Coby Bryant coming in to the Bears here. Okay, let's see. Standout safety had 3 year, $40 million. Bryant has 7 interceptions over the last 2 years. Amassed 7 forced fumbles and 17 passes defended in his time with Seattle overall. Drop them bear downs in the chat. Surprised that Seattle was willing to let him go, but I mean, they got a ton of money, so not super surprised. Because they can go out and get other pieces. They can go out and get other pieces. Just trying to see if anything else is dropping here. What does that say about where the Raiders thought Bears would be going forward? They thought this year was a fluke. We would have got Crosby. Oh, I see what you're saying. If the Raiders thought that the Bears were going to take a step back, then they would have said that it was a fluke. I understand what you're saying. They would have taken the picks. Yeah, listen, I went up to the combine. When you hear people talk around the combine, the conversation around the Bears is not, this year was a fluke. The conversation around the Bears is we're in trouble, ladies and gentlemen. This team is for real. And they're here. They're not here to play. The conversation around the Bears is that this team is serious and they're not here to play. So I think, when you hear things like that, when you see kind of how this team has operated heading into this offseason and going out and making depth moves and heading into the draft with more draft capital than you thought you'd get from the DJ Moore trade, there's a belief that the Bears are getting this right. There's a belief that the Bears are getting this right and that they're doing this the right way. Something else here from Rap. He's talking about Malik Willis. Malik Willis down in South Beach now. But they don't play in South Beach. That's actually hilarious. He's a new Dolphin. Malik Willis is a new Dolphin. Any word on Brisker? No word on Brisker at all. I would assume this signing pretty much takes Brisker out of the equation. You're not going to pay 2 safeties. What would that be? Around $30 million? That's not the world that you're living in here. That's not the world that you're living in here. I would hope that, you're trying to, the next deal that I would love to see done before I get out of here, because I do have to go do the Chicago Bears podcast. The next deal that I would love to see done is the Chicago Bears go out and add JC just now texting me back. We got Coby. Now we're talking. The next deal I'd like to see done is the Bears go add Taylor Decker at that left tackle, add your gap guy. And I'd be okay if you're done with that. I would be very much okay if that is how free agency ended for the Bears. You add a rotational defensive tackle. We knew they were attacking that in the draft. You add your left tackle for the next year that already knows this system and that you can trust. You're pairing him up next to Joe Thuney, and then you add Coby Bryant into the mix as well. I'd feel great about that. Because I don't think that you had to go out and make these massive replacements. I've said that the entire time. I don't think the Bears are as far back as some people look at them to be. I look at this Bears team and I say, you add pressure up front, you're going to get those, all of a sudden, all those names that you had last year that maybe weren't as great, take another step in the right direction. You add that pressure up front, and that changes a lot. You're going to do that via the draft this year. Good get. Good get. O'Neal says, I think we're not giving the coaching staff enough credit. We picked up 3 studs, possibly 4 studs on offense in the draft. We have 4 picks in the first 100 picks. Can get at least 2 to 3 starters. 100%. 100%. You have to. You have to. This has to be one where you hit in the draft. This has to be one where you hit in the draft. And it was always going to be that. More than likely, you were going to have to give the farm for any of the pieces that we were talking about as big names. Seems like the Trey Hendrickson price is a little too high for most people. The Dallas Cowboys were out and said, we'll take Rashawn Gary, who, wow, is bad. But the Dallas Cowboys were out. And then you turn around and you're able to go out there and get a you hear that Ryan Poles offered 2 first-round picks. So, by the way, if the price is too high for Trey, Ryan's probably not getting that one done. I think that's the kind, unless the price comes down. Flip side of that, you offered your 2 firsts for Max. Once you're out on that, you got to go bang out the draft. You got to dominate in the draft, and you have that opportunity. And we saw you do this last year with a bunch of top 100 picks. On the offensive side of the ball, I know a lot of people get concerned with Ryan Poles on the defensive side of the ball, but I want to see what Ryan Poles looks like on the defensive side of the ball when the focus is defense going into this draft, when you have Dennis Allen sitting next to him, telling him this is what I need on my defense. I'm going to get up out of here because I have to go do the Chicago Bears podcast and report on this with Jason McKee will be on with us today. So hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Of course, if any Bears news breaks, we will be back on here live. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love. Bears sign safety Coby Bryant and defensive tackle Neville Gallimore. Let me know how you guys feel down below.